Hi, I'm Laurna and I'm a trained carrying consultant, and in this video we're going to look at a ring sling and how to use it for a smaller baby and a toddler. So I'm using the beautiful Andalous Rainbow, which is a hemp blend. Beautiful colours. And this one can be a wee bit stiffer, but it softens up really nicely with lots of use. So to use the ring sling, you're going to choose what side that you carry your baby on. So for a smaller baby, I'm going to be using the doll, and a smaller baby, it goes in the centre and slightly to the side opposite the rings. So I would normally hold the baby on my right shoulder, so I'm going to have the rings on my left. I'm just going to okay. So I'm going to hold the rings in my left hand with the label facing out and the hem facing out. You can see the label there. And I'm going to hold the top hem with my fingertips, and I'm just going to spin it round behind my shoulders. So the left shoulder has got the rings and this part is going underneath. So I've got it nice and smooth and flat on my back. Okay. So I'm just going to gather up the fabric from the top to the bottom, just holding the rings so they don't move. Okay. Gathering that all up, bring that across my body, and we're going to feed it through. So I've brought it through both rings, making sure there's no twists or folds and that top hem moves freely through. Then we're going to open the rings, take the top over and then underneath that bottom hem. That bottom ring, sorry. I'm going to pull it all the way through, and there's your rings threaded. But we want to make sure that there's no twists or folds. So we check that this top hem goes over and under and does a bit of a U-turn here. And then I'm pushing them through, putting my thumbs in either side. Okay, and I'm just gathering the fabric through gently, making sure there's no twists or folds. Okay. Okay, so we've got it all nice and gathered, and then you just want to pull it through, making sure that top hem is at the top and that bottom hem is at the bottom. Okay. So now I'm going to place the rings higher up on my shoulder. You want it to sit kind of just at your collarbone, no lower or higher. Depending on how it feels, you can have it higher or lower as long as it's comfortable. Just ensure that it's not pushing or putting pressure onto your breast tissue. So to size my ring sling now, I'm going to put my thumb holding this pouch, and I'm going to lift my rings and pull down. So a good size to start off with is bringing it down just to your hip. So I'm going to pull it through a wee bit more and just to my hip, and that gives you enough fabric to work with and still have fabric to adjust once baby's in. But as you get used to it, you know how much to loosen before baby goes in, and then you'll get it to the right size each time. So I've got my pouch here, and before baby goes in, we're going to do a wee bit more setting it up. So I want this bottom hem to be a bit tighter. So I'm going to pull any slack from my back. Yes. Bring it round and pushing the slack up. And then I'm going to pull it through. You want one? One. Tap. Okay. So you want to feel it snug against your body, not too tight, because we want space for baby's legs to go through. So that feels okay, and I've still got all of my pouch here ready. So I'm going to use my doll. So for a newborn or a smaller baby, with a ring sling, they're not going to be on your hip because they're not ready yet. They need to have full head control and a wee bit more torso control so they can hold themselves up. So you want them to be in the middle of your chest, slightly to the side, so the rings aren't in the way. So I'm going to bring baby onto my shoulder, supporting the bum. Other hand is going to come underneath this pouch. I'm scooping those legs both through, hand on the bum just to settle them, and then making sure those legs are open and settling baby down into position. Okay, so we just want to start off with sitting baby on that wee rope that we've got here, right under their bum and into the knees. With a smaller baby or a newborn, their legs will still be really curled up and like this, and that's fine. We want to keep those hips close together and not open them yet. So for this baby's a wee bit bigger, so we can open the hips a wee bit more. So at this point, if you feel that your rings have slipped down at all, then we can move them back up. So I'm supporting baby's bum and lifting the weight off a bit. I'm going to grab here and I'm pulling down and wiggling my shoulders. And with that wiggle, that will help loosen any slack and push it back to where you want. So I'm just adjusting and then pushing all that fabric into under baby's knee, under baby's bum and to the front. So all the slack is now here rather than on my shoulder. Okay, so I'm going to feel for this top hem, which is just here with my thumb. Bring it over baby's bum, support baby's bum at all times, and then I'm just gently going to bring up the fabric. Okay, I'm just pulling up enough that I need. So for a newborn, you want to bring it up to the back of their ears and then back down to their neck. So there's a wee bit of give there. More. Here we go. Here we go. So with the newborn or tiny baby, you want to bring it to the ears and then back down. So there's a wee bit of extra there behind their neck. With a couple months old baby, you want to bring enough fabric that it's just into the nape of their neck there. And then with older children, it can be a wee bit lower or down to their shoulders at the highest, but you always want to try and get it up to the back of the neck for full support. If older children want their arms out, then that's absolutely fine, as long as the fabric supports as high up as you can. So for this baby, we're just going to bring it up to the ears and then back down. So the fabric is all nice and smooth on the spine, and then all that excess is gathered under the bum and into that nice seat that we've got. So I'm just going to check those knees are in position, making sure all that fabric is gathered under there, and any slack stuck under the bum, I'm pulling so all the slack is now here. Okay, so I'm just ensuring the baby's arms are up. Any slack at the side we want to push across and again to the front. So all the slack is here, so when we tighten, it's just going to move a short distance rather than the rings pulling down, which is not what we want. So I'm going to start off with that top hem. I'm going to pull it across and down, and you can see how that's now nice and snug. And then I'm working my way wee bit at a time, and I'm tightening in a kind of sunray. So I'm tightening and fanning it out because this is a circle. If you pull it all in the same way, the slack isn't going to work its way through as smoothly. So try and fan it all out, holding baby's bum at the same time. Okay, and that bottom hem, just give it a wee pull, just to ensure that that's nice and snug. Okay, I've got a wee bit of slack there. There we go. Okay, so you can see how baby is on my front, slightly off centre, so slightly over this breast, so they're not in the way of the rings. Okay, so baby is still nice and upright. Baby's hands are both up. The fabric is supporting the back of the neck and it's not too tight, so baby can move their head freely and lean against you. It's nice and smooth on the spine. The fabric is supporting into those knee pits, and they've got that nice wee pelvic tilt, so you can see that wee bum is sitting nice and low. So now for your comfort, you can spread it across your shoulder a wee bit more if you want, and you can push down on your back if you feel like it's rolled up a wee bit. If you have a ring sling that's got a gradation across the way when it's on your baby, then whatever colour is on the bum, try and have that on the point of your shoulder, and that will help spread and even out the weight a wee bit. So for this one, it won't work that way, but just kind of lift baby's bum slightly and pull it down until you feel that that weight is just balanced out and even a wee bit. More. So this is using a ring sling with a smaller baby. If you wanted to, you can twist the tail and then bring it round for a wee bit of head support, and you can tuck it in there, just ensuring that baby's face is free and clear and it's not obscuring their face or hindering their breathing. So as long as you can see baby, then you can see their airways are nice and clear. Is that it? Okay? Or you can just leave it low. So now we're going to look at a ring sling with an older child. Okay, so I've set up my ring sling, I've threaded it through, and now we're just going to tighten just the same as before. I'm adjusting my rings so they're on the top of my shoulder, pulling the bottom hem round to the front and pulling it through so it gets it nice and tight, and I've got enough space here for my child. So for an older child from about 4 or 5 months onwards into toddlerhood, they will go more on your hip, but not right on your hip, because you still want a free range of movement in your arm. So as if you would hold them in your arms, but we're going to use the sling as support instead. So everything's set up here, my rings are nice and high on my shoulder, that bottom hem is tight, and I have my pouch. So I'm going to get my child. Hi! You going to say hi? I want one of these. Nice and high? So because he's bigger, I'm going to have him right up on my shoulder, and I'm going to do one leg at a time. So I'm supporting him under his bum. I'm going to scoop one leg in. Okay. Bring him over to the other side, and then putting the other leg in. There we go. And then same as before, I'm going to sit him down onto that rope. So you can see how my rings have moved. So I've left it a wee bit tight. So I need to loosen this off. And I'm lifting his bum to take his weight off so I can pull this. I'm pulling it across, wiggling my shoulders. I'm going to push his knee up, push his sack and the fabric under his bum to that other knee. Okay, so now all my slack is here. Support him, find that top hem and bring it up. Okay, so over his bum, so supporting his bum, and then pulling it up, keeping my hand there to support so the fabric doesn't all slip away, up to the back of his neck. He likes an arm, both arms out, so I'm still bringing it up to the back of his neck, and then we can gather the fabric down. So any slack from here, I'm pushing round, and now his bum is supported by the bottom hem, so I can support his shoulders now, and I'm going to tighten. So same again, top hem, pull across, do a couple of pulls if needed, and now put my hand under his bum and lifting slightly. Because he's bigger and heavier, his weight is going to pull down, so oh dear, put this on. So by lifting his bum, it'll help the slack move through. Oh dear. Who's that? Who's that? Okay. I'm lifting his bum slightly as I pull the slack through, and that's going to allow the fabric to move more freely. So I'm just checking that it's into his knee pits, which it is here. Okay. So you can see, even with his arms out, he's fully supported right up to his shoulder blades. If you feel that you've got any slack, hold baby close to you and pull the fabric through, or lift baby's bum. So lifting baby's bum takes the weight off the sling and allows the fabric to move through. So if you're trying to tighten and nothing's working, just a wee lift on the bum will help take. Okay, so once all that slack's out, then that's your ring sling. And then once baby falls asleep, you can tuck the arms in and go on. Okay, so the legs are nice and supported, those knees are nice and high, and the bum is sat nice and low. You can't go anywhere, can you? Okay, again, you can use the tail for support, but this time you can twist and bring under the bum and then tuck it in if you wanted for a wee bit of extra support. Personally, I like to enjoy a bit of a swish. Oh dear. Okay. So if you need any other help or support, get in touch with Osha in the clan and on the website, and you can contact me at Korean with Love. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the tips and tricks and following videos. You say bye bye?
Bye bye.